Yo, it's your boy, Seafoam Soldier. How are y'all doing? Everyone okay? Had a good week? Here today to debrief on episode 2 of season 1 of Drag Race. I haven't really been sleeping very well, so I'm kind of shattered, but I still have a fair bit to say, a fair bit to go through. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to check out the sode as well and give me your thoughts as we go. So yeah, let's just dive right in, get the party started. So the first thing that stood out to me was I thought it was quite a strong choice for the challenge, a girl group challenge. You know, that's normally like the highlight of the season. I went straight in for episode 2 with that. I guess they sort of stopped doing that challenge for a few seasons, right? I don't remember it from season 2, 3, 4. Was it in season 4? We obviously had the musical in season 6, the Rusical. But yeah, I don't like a girl group challenge hasn't been a consistent challenge from what I can remember. So yeah, I was quite surprised to see it as the second episode ever of the show. And yeah, it was a cool idea. But again, the continuing theme from the first episode is just how janky everyone is. Yeah, I mean, it was somewhat disappointing, but I suppose I hadn't really expected much more. So in that way, it was fine. The mini challenge was again like another sort of classic mini challenge, but it was obviously a bit bizarre because they used black and white cameras. And I feel like, what was it, 2008, 2007, 2008, right? So, smartphones existed. I mean, even if not everyone had them. I mean, selfies couldn't have existed without a smartphone, right? So it seemed weird for them. It was like called a selfie challenge, but yet they were using black and white cameras. So yeah, that seemed a little odd. And again, like the challenge was pretty lackluster, the mini challenge. It was like fine, I guess. Like none of them did particularly well. I mean, Akasha was quite funny to be happy that Cher was retiring. I mean, I don't know what face I would do, probably indifference. But yeah, like I don't. It's sort of Akasha's personality is obviously not ideal, and her doing that face sort of is just a continuation of that. So yeah, it was kind of what I'd expect, sort of like what I would have expected her to have done, you know. But at least it was different because everyone else just did like standard reactions. I mean, again, like I understand there's no format of the show yet, you know, so you can't look at previous seasons and see what sort of thing would be expected of you. But still, I mean, surely the point of being a drag queen is to try your best to stand out and be different. So yeah, I was quite sort of surprised that they all just went so basic with it, you know. Again, but it's sort of like what I was saying from the first episode. I sort of get the impression like not many of them really care about being there too much. So they're not really sure. I don't feel like anyone's really putting in maximum effort at any point. But yeah, so it was like a good idea for a mini challenge, but in execution for this season, it just was pretty lackluster, I'd say. So okay, obviously this episode is pretty Tammy focused, which is something you notice in the earlier seasons, that they tend to give the most airtime to the girl that's going home. So yeah, we got a lot from Tammy with this episode, which is good because she is the most interesting one to me. So one of the things I noted is that her confessionals are so serious, which doesn't really mesh at all with her personality or character. I sort of get the impression, and same with the lip sync as well at the end of the episode, that she was sort of forced to do that, sort of forced to perform in the way they wanted her to perform. But the confusing thing I have from that is why she then agreed to come back for All Stars. But we can chat about that towards the end. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Yeah, okay. And then next they were fighting over the envelopes, Akasha and Ongina. And that seemed kind of pointless to me. Although I suppose it wasn't, because I assume the point of an envelope is that you take one and then open it and see what you have. But I think from what I can see, Akasha opened both of them and chose the one she wanted and gave the other one to Ongina, which seemed kind of unfair. But I suppose there are no like stringent rules in place, so fine, do what you want. No real beef with that, to be honest. Like, it's kind of bratty and annoying, but like if it's within the rules, fine. But after all of that, why would you then choose independent women? Independent women? Independent women. And not say my name. Say my name's gonna be far. I mean, A, it's way more of a tune, and B, like you can do way more to it in terms of like lip syncing choreo. Like, it's a slower song. It's like a story that you can act out as you go. I mean, you can like take the piss, or you can do it seriously, whatever. But there's just a lot. Like, you're given like a set structure with that song to go with. Like I said, I think it'd be a lot easier for dance moves as well, with the sort of rhythm of it. So again, it just seems stupid to fight for it and then choose independent women. But again, fine, you do you, boo. Oh, and it does. Again, I think I did this for maybe like 1 or 2 more seasons, but it seems weird they all got a role. Like, someone was hair, someone was makeup, someone was choreo, someone was outfits. That seems really strange to me. And then both teams actually all just sort of like had their own say. So despite someone being in charge of makeup, everyone would still like do their own thing with makeup or give their opinion on it. Some more than others, i.e. Chanel. But just generally, like, it'd be weird to like, because it's got to be cohesive, right? I suppose that's a part of it being a team challenge. But it did, for example, didn't work out. So Nina did like 80s style hair. And I guess it didn't work out with Chanel's makeup vision, for example. But I think it's just the nature of the way the challenge is set up. And obviously you should communicate. But then what's the point of having creative freedom if you agree to do the same look anyway? You know? I feel like neither team's tackled the way the challenge was laid out correctly, and B, the way the challenge was laid out sort of made it difficult to follow correctly, if that makes sense. Again, I feel like if it was in a later season, the queens would know what to do more intuitively. But because it wasn't, I sort of could understand why what happened. But in terms of that, I was impressed with Nina's attitude. I mean, just generally, I'm impressed with her. But Chanel was like really like chomping at her ankle, sort of thing, and her response was, "We need to trust each other," sort of thing. That's a very diplomatic way to approach that situation, and so yeah, I respected that. Akasha says in the confessional, basically, she's like every season needs a bitch, sort of thing. Every TV show needs a bitch. So I mean, it's good she's got that sort of level of self-realization. She's already a step in front of Laganja. But I sort of get the impression that she hasn't come into the show. She's not a vixen. She's not the vixen by like coming in like with the idea of being the bitch in mind for more airtime or whatever. I feel like Akasha is just naturally pretty bitchy, and then is sort of like using that as an excuse after the fact, potentially. I mean, I could be wrong. She could have a game plan. She seems pretty intelligent, so I wouldn't be massively surprised if she does. But I don't know. I just feel like her behavior seems very natural to her. You know, it doesn't seem like it's rehearsed or like she's anything's a strain for her or unnatural or anything. So yeah, I'd like to know what you guys think in regards to that. But also to continue on, she did literally nothing all challenge. What was she in charge of? Makeup? And yeah, I think Rebecca was it? I always get Rebecca and Jade confused. Rebecca summed it up. It's like she's literally used like 3 different eyeshadow colors, and that's literally all she's done. She didn't do like lashes, blush, anything. And the thing I did notice, I suppose it's just like a drag queen thing, but she was doing a cut crease. Like, it was a decent eye look, and it did match the outfits that are being designed. So like, Rebecca's totally right, but at the same time, I think makeup by far had the easiest job, you know. And because I mean, everyone paints their face anyway. So for example, compare Tammy having to do 4 outfits for one challenge compared to Akasha, who drew, did eyeshadow on a bit of paper, and that's literally all she did. And the queens had to apply their own makeup, whereas like someone like Tammy had to make all the outfits. So the person who got the makeup role had by far the easiest job. What did China have in her challenge? It wasn't choreo, it wasn't wigs, wasn't outfits, so it must have been makeup. No, because Chanel had makeup. Jade had choreo. Who had wigs? It wasn't on China. Was it Nina who had wigs? Yeah, Nina was on that team. Nina had wigs. So on China had makeup. No, because Chanel had makeup. Damn it! Why can't I remember what she had? That's really frustrating. I'm not going to think about it if not. I'll be here for 10 minutes. But yeah, so I feel like the roles were unfairly weighted. Again, that goes to the way the challenge was laid out and set up, as opposed to the way the Queens tackled it. So it was a bit of like it was a bit rubbish from both angles, if that makes sense. A bit of like a lose-lose situation. One of the revealed facts is that Jade's a go-go dancer, which is somewhat interesting. But yeah, I mean, it explains why she is extra good at choreo. She seemed like to have the right style of choreo for the song, which was good. I think it's the same first episode as well, but I have been really impressed with Jade's attitude. Generally, she seems to be tackling challenges in the way they need to be tackled, and her personality and stuff. Generally, again, like she's not standing out to me at all, and obviously she hasn't post-season, but so far I'm here for Jade in like in the context of this first season. It was pretty stupid that Akasha wouldn't put a wig on, so it helped, you know. I mean, not only was she a rubbish team leader, she was sort of like actively going against the group, you know, making things more difficult for her teammates. So she was sort of like the opposite of what a team leader should be doing. And also, she's giving me Tyra Sanchez vibes. Obviously, the winner of season 2, just in terms of her attitude, like bratty again. I think I said someone else was bratty earlier, but Kasha just seems very bratty to me. Okay, so next thing that happens is Michelle comes into the workroom, but the way Ru promos it is by saying, "Let me introduce you to one of Destiny's legendary children." So, like, I mean, I guess hopefully most people wouldn't assume it's Beyonce because, again, season 1 Drag Race. But still, like, don't tease that shit, you know? It's like, if I was a drag queen, I'd be like, oh my God, what if it's Beyonce? And then even you're like, okay, fine, like, it's not going to be Beyonce realistically. It'd be Kelly. Like, Kelly's awesome. And it's Michelle, and you're like, oh no. I actually like Michelle. Like, I really like the tone to her voice, even when she speaks. I really like it a lot. I haven't really heard any of her solo stuff, so I don't know if I'd like her music, but you know, she is objectively the least famous member of Destiny's Child, and she always has been, right, as far as I'm aware. So I wouldn't have promoted it in that way if I was Ru. Like maybe like Destiny's like sultry later edition. I don't really know what you'd say. Or the replacement to Endor replacements. I don't know how you'd do it, but just don't tease it that way, you know? I wrote down she looking good though. She is. She's looking banging. I don't know what she looks like recently, actually. I was trying to think whether this episode was filmed before, not the remake, what do you call it? When they got back together again, not the reboot. All I can think of is gaming terms. Yeah, because obviously when I had the Lose My Breath, love that song. That is a tune. I remember listening to the rest of the album, hoping it'd be like Lose Your Breath, Keep My Breath, Can You Keep Up? Baby boy, maybe Lose My Breath. Okay, but it wasn't at all. The rest of the album's rubbish, from what I can remember. That's a shame. It's a real shame. It's pretty impressive what they did at that big event, Super Bowl, where they reformed it like a remix. That was really cool. I only ever watched it in low quality. I need to find an HD version of that. I forgot. I was meant to, but I forgot to watch it. So, oh god, Chanel is a massive pain in the ass. She went on this big, long. Like rant of things she's amazing at, and most of them I found questionable. For example, comedian. Have we seen any examples of that at any point? Like she seems extremely serious. Again, I haven't seen her off the show, so maybe she's a lot more laid back off the show. But in terms of what we're seeing, she's literally the opposite of a comedian. And female illusionist, again, pretty questionable, I'd say. But as long as she's happy with her list. Yeah, again, so back to Tammy. Tammy doesn't like competing. It seems strange. Again, we'll chat about it later, but it seems strange that Tammy would then come back for All-Stars when this obviously isn't the right format for her at all. But what I find interesting, again, I feel like it's not just me. But despite the fact that she's not comfortable in the environment, she doesn't really want to be there. You can just tell she's not having a good time, which normally would be really not fun to watch at all. i.e. James Mansfield, she's still like fascinating to watch and fun to watch and entertaining, and yeah, like it's impressive. Again, it's still somewhat uncomfortable, but not enough to make it like unpleasant to watch, you know. So I do think Tammy has like a natural gift to entertain. Obviously, like she's extremely kooky, but I mean beyond that, you know, it's just something else about her. She just stands out from the crowd, you know. Also, so this is something else I wanted to chat about. Also, I mean, just a heads up, I'm assuming you guys, some of you will watch this when it goes up on YouTube, but there are no viewers at the moment, which hasn't been like way for a little while. So I think these streams could be significantly quicker than normal, which is fine. Like, it's not ideal, but yeah, so that's why I'm able to like bounce off stuff and go into deep discussions about anything really. So I don't have anyone to do it back and forth with. But hopefully, you know, I'm still providing somewhat interesting points. I don't really know. Sorry, I'm also very tired, like I said earlier. So yeah, I'm still happy. I'm happy to do this, but yeah, apologies if it's a bit off compared to normal. I'm still determined to do these weekly streams. Yeah, I was sort of hoping we could do a different topic this week, but no one seemed particularly keen. So I need to think of something else for next week. Or like I think I'm actually quite enjoying the season again, so I'm happy to continue with Drag Race. But yeah, if you guys aren't really getting into this season, let me know and we can switch it up. Totally happy to do that. Again, though, like my idea behind doing this was that we could do it roughly in tandem with the Race Chaser podcast, so that we could get more out of their sort of feedback on the show. I know it's like double feedback per episode, which may not be ideal, but like I don't know. So like I was thinking, like I think we can watch it together to remind ourselves of the episode and share our thoughts, and then listen to the Race Chaser podcast and hear like all the inside tea because they know all the girls and stuff, you know. So it could be a good little combo, I was thinking. But again, like, you know, if you guys aren't feeling it, happy, like, totally happy to mix it up. Down for whatever. Yeah. So I do want to talk about Tammy at some point, but if no one really joins, then it could be a little bit tricky. Talk about it next week, maybe. So yeah, okay, this is another thing I want to talk about. Again, so remind me next week if no one jumps on. The greetings with the guest judges, you know, really like says and welcome this person, blah blah blah. Although they're less interesting because everyone's just saying, "Oh, great, cheers, I'm glad to be here." They seem a lot more organic, a lot less stilted than the recent intros, which is funny. Like how sort of stilted they are is funny, but it's quite cool seeing like them more organic. You know, where you don't have to think of a witty one-liner, not think of one where it hasn't been written a witty one-liner to read. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying seeing those more sort of natural interactions between the judges and Ru. Okay, so this is tricky. So my throat's a bit sore because not my throat isn't sore because it's a bit tricky because both teams I found very underwhelming generally. It's like team one. Oh god, the team names were horrific as well. What was it? Serving fish. Are you really? Very bold claims. And in 3D, like what? Like I know 3D TVs and stuff are big back then, and literally have one. But which is like 3D TV is a pretty good for gaming, you know. But it's just a terrible name. I mean, there's 4 members. Like people are in 3D anyway. Like I don't know. I just didn't really get it. Like 3D because it's impactful. Because again, if that's the reason you chose that name, very very bold claims. So yeah, I thought the team names are very questionable. I think both teams said like we ran out, we can't think of anything. It's quite important, really. Like have a whole vision, you know. Again, I feel like they did that, and Dragula did this well. One of the teams did anyway. We need like a whole concept, like a name, like I don't know, like Death Thrashers, and have like a goth look, and then I don't know. That's a really shit idea, but like at least it would have been better than this. Like something cohesive, you know. So you can have cohesive like makeup, wigs, choreography, name, like everything should just be a complete package. But like none of this was a package apart from like really shit sort of homage to Destiny's Child, like a horrifically shit homage, you know. which again just surprises me. Because I know queens know differently now because of the show, but again, being a drag queen is all about standing out and being different, thinking outside the box. So it just seems strange to me I didn't go down that route. And again, I think this is why Tammy was again like super interesting to watch in the group challenge, because like just the way she approached it was like different and fun, and not like, why would I watch either of these teams instead of watching like a Destiny's Child live performance? You know, what are they serving me that I couldn't get a way better version of online? You know, whereas someone like Tammy, like I've not seen that before. It's her own like unique spin on it, which I respected, despite it being not good. Like at least it was interesting, you know. So yeah, the first thing came out, and lip syncing was super stiff. Like I think most of them got the words. They all seemed slightly off the whole way through, both teams. At the very least, that is. But just yeah, like, lip syncing seems super stiff to me. Oh, Jade wasn't really singing at all. Guess she's so focused on the choreography that she just didn't really lip sync, which was a bit surprising. Because again, like she impressed me generally. She seemed quite polished, quite together. So yeah, I was surprised that she sort of just didn't really lip sync at all a lot of the time. Maybe she was sort of focusing on the other girls' choreography. I don't know. I can't really think of why she wouldn't know. And again, it's a song everyone knows. So yeah. Tammy, bless her. She looked like she was having a really good time. Like, I know we just talked about her, but yeah, she looked like, although she was on another planet, she looked like she was having a good time still. I think she probably just went out beforehand, like, you know, this isn't for me, but just enjoy as much as you can, which is the best attitude to have. I think it went well. I mean, even a nip slip, like, she pulled it off. Like, it was just funny. Like, I don't know. It's just like, is it campy? I don't even know what word to use to describe Tammy. But yeah, I was just impressed with her. You know, she's sweet. Okay. So. Oh, okay. So that was it. That's my only really feedback on both the groups. So I was pretty impressed that both of the teams' outfits, bearing in mind one person made 4 outfits. You know, think of how terrible some of like the single outfits the queens have made in later seasons are. So I was pretty impressed with, like, again, at least the outfits had cohesion between the members. But yeah, again, it seems stupid to me, Akasha giving Tammy the role of creating outfits and not letting her do literally anything creatively. Just seems like not the best choice. But oh well. BB sort of sunk into the background for me this episode, like nothing to say on BB, which I don't know. She was like a bit snappy with Tammy as well, which I thought was out of order. Again, like BB had similar sort of critique with BB in All Stars 3 and her being like a bit not high strung necessarily, like above everyone else, you know. It's a better way to phrase that, but you know what I'm saying. So I think it's just a consistent part of her personality. I don't think it was the stress of the season or anything like that. She seems just to be a bit natural to her, to be a little bit, yeah, like superior. That's what I'm thinking. A bit of superiority complex, which I find personally pretty off-putting. But again, like, you know, she's still obviously a great performer. And that's a bit harsh, but you know, we're analysing what we're seeing. So yeah, for me personally, like I find it off-putting, but she's still like a decent person at that, from what I've seen. Rebecca was giving me a bit of a Raja vibe with her look. Obviously, a bit of like a janky Raja, but still. Okay, so at the end of the challenge, Brasku should go home, which again, I was, you know, earlier to have that, but it's a reality show sort of staple, so I wasn't massively surprised. Rebecca said, "Oh, this is really tricky," and then she chooses Chanel. But like, it's not tricky. Even Nina chose herself. Like, Nina was a mile worse than literally everyone else in your team. So that seems stupid. Although I suppose at the same time, you're not really watching your teammates. If you're like doing well, you're focusing on yourself. So maybe she didn't notice. I don't know. Michelle is a good guest judge. She's definitely got something to say. What was one of the bits people like? She's like a messy man or something like that about Akasha. On Jana one challenge, which I think is fair. I stand by what I said last episode. She's still definitely not wowed me. I think all she did this episode was especially choreo, didn't she? She must have done choreo. But I feel like most of what she did this episode, she was a great team leader, to be fair. But in terms of everything else, she sort of just was happy to let everyone else guide her. And again, that's a decent skill, especially to have on Drag Race. But I don't think she's shone enough to be the winner. I think she's a great team leader. But in terms of like talent, I still haven't seen anything from her that makes me understand why people are so into her. You know, she'd look good in that wig. She should definitely wear wigs more often. IMO. Yeah, and again, the same during. Angina won chocolates. That was a real treat. She actually had like a cry moment, like a fake cry moment, because that would have been funny. Yeah, during lip sync, I wrote down, "Oh, Tammy's having such a good time." She looks like it again. Like she probably wasn't. She's probably forced to do it, but she's just like enjoying herself, like, having a little groove, and yeah, it's sweet to watch. They shouldn't do a what's her name, Charlie Hyde. You know, at least she got into it a little bit. Again, she could have been forced to do so. But again, like even though it's probably uncomfortable for her, I found it really fun to watch. Like it wasn't depressing; it was good. You know, I was pretty impressed. Again, especially as she said loads of times, it wasn't her sort of music. Michelle took offense to that, but like it's pretty obvious it's not her sort of music. Just look at her, you know. I feel like the queens aren't allowed to say that in later seasons, really, because no one really says that anymore. And a lot of queens, like Pearl, for example, never does pop stuff at all. From what she didn't used to anyway. From what I saw. But for her to come up and do like super poppy stuff or like a black soul song, obviously that's not in her repertoire. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's fine to vocalize that. I did write down that Kasha was doing very well during the lip sync. I was impressed. But Michelle was crying, which seemed a disproportionate reaction to lip sync. Like it was a good lip sync for sure. Like fill your oats a little bit, you know. But it wasn't worth crying because it's her own song, right? She's like my own song. I think she's getting emotional like about her own song, which sort of doesn't surprise me. It's quite funny. Yeah, Kasha was like the first lip sync assassin, I guess. Like she did do very well. Yeah, okay. So CUNT. Let me figure this out. Charisma Tammy, talent for actually Tammy and whoever designed the outfits on the other team. I can't give talent twice, can I? Okay, Charisma Tammy, uniqueness. Shit, I want to give them all to Tammy. I'm going to. You know what? Screw it. This is season 1. I can do what I want. I haven't got no systems to set up properly yet. Charisma Tammy, for the reasons I've already explained. Uniqueness Tammy, for obvious reasons. Nerve Tammy, for standing up for herself and to the judges, you know. She's like, it's not my sort of music, Michelle. Go F yourself in your shitty little track. And talent for designing all those dresses and like saying her piece, but not like ruining it for everyone else. You know, she could have like refused to do stuff or not get into anything, but she didn't. She put some effort in. And like helped support her team, and despite her team being dicks to her. So yeah, Tammy, I really like you for that. Good job. Yeah, and what's a piece of pop culture I've been enjoying this week? I recommended Octopath last week already. I stand by that. Handmaid's Tale, season 2, Under His Eye. Yeah, it's great. I think it might even be better than season 1. Just the twists and turns. It's like stressful to watch, you know, in the best way. Yeah, you probably hear my throat is dying. No one's watching it, so I don't see any reason to stick around necessarily. But if you manage to watch the YouTube video, then let me know your thoughts down below. I said it'd be cool to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And if there's anything you want to chat about in person, we can do so next week if you can make it. Or if you guys, like I said earlier, aren't into this season of Drag Race, I'm happy to mix it up. Yeah, I'm happy to let you guys guide me. Like I said, I wanted to do. I kicked up my mates to do this stream. You know, like I wanted to commit to doing Sunday evenings. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Cool. So cheers for watching if you have, and yeah, take care, and I'll see you next Sunday. Peace out for now.